Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans across the nation and around the world. This is Tim May with the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall. And Clay Hall has got us another feature. Dale Cox is in here today. Clay's going to explain what this man's all about, but we're really looking forward to it. I mean, if you're paying attention to sports over the weekend, of course you're watching the Olympics like I am. I mean, the ski jumping is my favorite part. I always saw it growing up at Demopolis, Alabama, and then in East Texas, I could be either a ski jumper or a bobsledder. I always dreamed of that, and they sold. You guys aren't old enough, Dale isn't, but remember they used to sell two-man bobsleds in the Sears catalog. The Sears Christmas catalog. I always dreamed of not just having one, but having ice to go down. You know, kind of like the Jamaican bobsled team. They had the bobsled, they just didn't have the ice. But yeah, totally enjoy watching the Olympics. But I'll tell you what I really like this weekend, guys. You can hit me up on it. I watched probably about 5 minutes of the NBA All-Star game. I think it was game 2, that's all I watched. Of course, I watched the Daytona 500, and what a crazy. The guy who was leading with one lap to go finished 12th, upside down, I think. And Tyler Reddick ended up winning the thing. But what a race, what a finish. But what I really watched, I'm sitting here, I'm torn because I'm watching Pebble Beach. You know, one of my favorite golf tournaments. And without a doubt, Colin Morikawa came from behind and won that tournament. Akshay Bhatia, one of my favorite golfers, left-handed. Yeah. He ends up kind of fading a little bit, but still finishing strong. But Scotty Scheffler
came from nowhere. Just
like the week before, almost missed the cut, you know. On the final day, he had 3 eagles and 3 bogeys and shot a 63.
Yeah.
Dale, are you a golfer at all?
I am. I follow it and enjoy watching it. I watched last night. I saw Colin win it.
Yeah.
It was a big win for him.
Oh, yeah. He announces right after he and his wife are expecting their first child in a couple of months, and that was pretty cool. And then Anthony Kim, he's been off the radar for like 15 years. All of a sudden he comes back and wins that. Now, he did win a live event, but still, they're playing 4 rounds now. But he had to hold off John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau. It wasn't like he was Jimmy Joe and Billy Bowe that he had to hold off. But you give it up to Anthony Kim for his great comeback. But Colin Morikawa hadn't won in like 2 years or something. And
2.5, yeah.
The great thing about I've been a volunteer at the U.S. Open the last 4 years. And the great thing is, you know, I can stand as close. Well, you can at Muirfield too and stuff. But as close to you guys, to these guys sometimes. Colin Morikawa was not a big guy.
No.
But, boy, does he have a big game. Akshay Bhatia looks like if a big wind blew up, and it did at Pebble Beach. It could blow him right into the ocean. That's kind of what happened to his game a little bit the last round and a half when he had a big lead and sort of saw it. He didn't blow it. He saw it get blown away is a better way of putting it. But Colin Morikawa was just a guy that was built to play golf, man. He's the perfect size, you know. And and the whole thing is he can hit all the shots, and if he's putting well, he's going to be in contention. So that's what we got to watch over the weekend. That's the stuff I get excited about.
Did you see what he said post-game or post-round? What fueled your comeback? And he said, I put on 10 pounds of fat, and I watched swing videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
It gives us hope.
Sometimes you're grinding too hard.
Maybe,
right?
Maybe.
Yeah. And sometimes, like Bryson DeChambeau, when he put on all that weight and muscled up, you know, how he did it. Found out it was not, you know, he was not going to drive every green at Augusta National, you know. And so, boom, there went that idea. So now Bryson DeChambeau is one of the premier golfers in the world because he came back from the abyss and made himself into a even more well-rounded golfer. If he can ever learn to chip on a consistent basis, he could win everything. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess not because he plays in the LIV Tour. So he couldn't win everything. He could live everything on the Win Tour plus the majors. But anyway, that's not why we're here.
No.
That's not why we're talking. That's not why Dale Cox came in to hear about Tim May and Tim May's golfing picadillos and Clay Hall's. What picadillos do you have, Clay?
Many in golf. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But anyway,
But we transitioned to a
yeah, I
team-
want to let you tell me about this Dale Cox fella. Why is he
Well-
sitting across from me?
Well, I met Dale Cox because he called me and said, you need to cover. At that point, the AAA Blue Jackets or the Ohio Blue Jackets, they were 12 and 13-year-olds. And he illuminated me and said, these kids, Clay, go challenge the best players in the world. And we have a team here, and this year they're making their 12th straight appearance in Quebec, where they go live with a billet family.
It's called a billet family, yeah.
Yeah. And lo and behold, his son Spencer, who now is playing in the East Coast Hockey League as a professional, 2 rungs shy of the NHL.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, won the darn thing. Went up there, and I shot. A lot of the parents went up that particular year. You were at the R Bar with many fans, et cetera, and when they clinched it, the roof came off.
Yeah, it was special.
Talk about the pride of that.
Yeah, with the Ohio AAA Blue Jackets, they've been around for years, and they've been going to that tournament way before Spencer's team went. But it's a huge deal. Like it's the equivalent of the Little League World Series.
Yep.
And they go and they play teams from all over the world, and they live with a billet family. And our boys were fortunate enough. Spencer's he's an 01 birth year, and hockey parents, relate their children to the birth year. So the 01s were a really good team, and they were coached by Todd Erie and Mike Maroney, and the boys went up there and they just did something that no one thought they would be able to do, and that was to win the whole thing. And it really started to gain momentum here in Columbus after your coverage, and so yeah, the R Bar was just, you'd think they were giving away money, standing room only. You couldn't, it was just packed. And then that final buzzer went and the place went nuts.
What year was this, by the way? That wasn't clear in Clay's otherwise sterling introduction.
It was like 10 years ago, I think, Clay.
Wow.
I forget.
You said 2010 or 11?
Yeah, I forget the exact year, but it's been a while. The 10-year, I think it's 10 because the 10-year reunion would have been last year. But somewhere around there.
Somewhere. But this year's team is there now.
This year's team is there right now.
How they doing?
They won their first exhibition game, and then they won their first tournament game.
Okay. Who'd they beat?
I forget who they beat, but it was a big win. And, I think they're up there with – I know they're up there with Todd Erie right now. And
so it's now
it's you got to –
survive or go home.
Yeah, you have to keep winning to
stay.
go all the way. So, unfortunately, if they lose, they're out. But, Todd Erie's got the guys up there. And our group of parents in that 01 birth year are just really, really still tight. And we – the dads usually still get together for breakfast or lunch once a month. And then when it's Quebec tournament time, we don't like to do this, but we'll crack a bottle of champagne and celebrate when they lose. Kind of similar to the $72 Dolphins?
Yeah, right. There you go.
And again, we don't like to, but we took a lot of pride in that,
of course,
in that team. And
what made that? What made that happen? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna get into a couple things. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but what made that team special? What made that team happen?
Well, I think they just had a lot of good players, right? And they had good players. They had good coaching, and the Ohio AAA Blue Jackets organization just gave them a platform to just really go on the international stage and show their skills. It's really, like Clay said, if you lose your first game, then you go to loser's bracket. But if you win your first game, then you have to win them all. And they just there were a lot of good players on that team. And I think with to do well in that tournament, you need to have a stud forward and a stud defenseman and a really good goalie.
Yeah.
And I think we were really fortunate to have those three components.
Were they all from the Central Ohio area?
Yeah, pretty much all from Columbus.
Yeah.
Those teams. That team was made up from. Yeah, I don't think there were any out of town kids, but now some kids, will come in and get a billet family and live here in Columbus and play for the
really?
the AAA team. Yeah, so it's hockey, youth hockey here in Columbus is that's booming.
That's what I'm leading up to. I mean, I moved up here in 1976. Ohio State had a sheet of ice, that little short where they play, where the women's team plays a lot. I think there was one up off of 315. I can't remember what it was called. It was where you could go ice skating.
Yep.
There was one at the fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. Well, it was mainly ice. There was some water. The old fairgrounds ice. That was about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Then the Ice Age came for Central Ohio.
Yep.
Agreed with, especially with the Blue Jackets when they showed up. Now there's ice.
Chillers.
How many ice? My point is, though, if you tried to round up a team for that tournament in 1980 in Columbus, a youth team, you wouldn't have been able to do it, right? I mean, the development, you weren't even born then, were you, Dale?
No, I wasn't even born in 1980.
But you understand what I mean, it's kind of
sure
cool, pardon the pun, how fast things have come in the realm of, I mean, we talk about youth soccer, we talk about lacrosse, but youth hockey, which my two sons played in some levels, growing up and stuff. And explaining from your vantage point, how big is youth hockey in this general area?
Oh, it's huge. There's just back in the day there was usually only one organization. Now there's so many different organizations that are popping up, and just because there's so much, there's a need for if kids want to compete at the top level here in Columbus, then the Ohio AAA Blue Jackets is where they would go. Ed Ginger and Trags have done just a phenomenal job with growing that program over the years. I mean, they run it like a professional team, and then you have other teams below them in Columbus, the Caha, CCYHA, and the Mavericks, and then
several.
So just so many teams here in Columbus, and
those are the teams that go. I'm talking about. You can go to the what is it called? Hang on a second. My stupid phone. Everything's turned off except the ringer on this. So go figure. And I get a lot of people trying to sell me Medicare products in February, and they should have been doing it in November. But I digress. But like my sons played like just youth hockey. You know what I mean? Organized leagues at like the Chiller.
Yep.
North, south of Costco, as I call it now.
Yep.
And then obviously Polaris. Or not Polaris, but up there off of North High Street. What's that chiller called?
Is it Chiller North?
It's Chiller North.
Chiller North.
Yeah.
That's where Spencer plays.
Chiller North, and then there's one in Dublin, and you have then you have.
Well, that's the one I was talking about. Was Dublin? Yeah, and then Worthing. Yeah, but what I'm asking, what is the opportunity for like the average kid now to be able to just go and be in a little league and play hockey? It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's available. Like the need is there, and they have Columbus, again, going back to the different organizations, they've made it so pretty much any kid here in town has a home and a place to play hockey if he wants to learn how to play hockey. So
I did a story on an inner city young man who is now playing at University of Alabama Huntsville because he got
IO.
Is that right?
That is. Yeah.
You know him.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. So he's kind of working his way up and had, I think, an outlet through Columbus City. I don't recall the exact thing, but it was
it's Columbus Ice Hockey Club.
Thank you.
John Hafferman runs that program, and what he's done for Columbus in the city in regards to hockey is
to give them access.
To give them access to learn how to play hockey, get equipment. I mean, it's unbelievable what John's done.
Tim, the other big story I discovered the other night on Twitter through Aaron Portzline, your good friend, that Dale has a health situation and is seeking a kidney. to take care of, I guess,
Business.
originally started with diabetes, and now that you can disclose what you want or don't want.
No, for sure. I'm a diabetic, and I've been, as you and I were talking, Clay, a non-conforming diabetic back, in prior years, and it kind of caught up to me. And about 2 years ago, I was on vacation, and I was in the Turks and Caicos, and I got up to go get something to drink, and I burnt my foot on the sand, literally burn it. And you and I were talking. It turned into a wound, kind of like that, the size of that coaster, and it took about almost a year to fully heal 100%. And as a diabetic, you have to watch your feet, and you just can't. It's not a good thing. So. That happened, and then we were here in Columbus, and my leg, we were out, and I was wearing shorts, and my leg just was swelling. And my girlfriend's a nurse, and she's like, well, why don't we just go over to the ER? So we went over to the ER, and they did a bunch of tests. To make a long story short, when the nurse was going through my numbers, my kidney numbers were just not where they should have been. And they made us aware of that, and then I started going to a nephrologist, and it turned out that I did have chronic kidney disease. It was not where it is today, but that's when I first kind of started to, become aware.
And we're trying to raise awareness for his ability to get a kidney, and the timetable on that, the difference between a living donor and a deceased donor.
Yeah, so the team over at Ohio State, it's a very large team that is dedicated to the individual. I was talking to my head person, and he said that a deceased donor could take up to years, 2-3 years, whereas a living donor could take pretty much weeks or months. So you see the contrast. I mean, it's a big difference, years to weeks to months. So
you're not currently on dialysis.
I am not. But
the need in terms of the matching is through blood, correct?
Mm-hmm. There are a few different, but yes, that is correct.
Is that the principal?
Yeah. And I've had
blood type. Yeah.
Yep. I've had a lot of people. Reach out, and it's been actually overwhelming, and I'm overwhelmed with after posting it. They said Mike, my head person over at Ohio State, we were talking about, and he's like, yeah, you want to get this out on social media because it'll just spread, and you only need one person,
right?
And
right,
10, 15 years ago, guys, we couldn't post something like this. There's really nowhere to post it, right? So I was telling people I didn't post it to get sympathy calls and texts, and I posted it so people could get the message out.
Sure,
and,
sure.
I'm good friends with Porty as well, and when I first kind of knew this was happening, he and I got together for lunch, and he's been very instrumental and.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's just a great guy, and having gone through it himself,
exactly.
It's been a good thing for me to be able to lean on Porty.
Dale, when you first get that news that the best thing for you would be a kidney transplant, what's the first thing that goes through your brain? It's like. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is it your mortality? Is it like just an urgency? Hey, let's get this done. Can't you do one tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's kind of all those, Tim. To be honest with you, I mean, you kind of just step back and you're like, wow, I need a kidney. Like, that's a major.
Yeah.
That's a major organ. And then you go through that like, wow, I need it, and like you said, you think about the mortality and. Where am I going to get it? How am I going to get it? So there's just a lot of things that go through your mind.
This is going to sound like a dumb question, but I don't care. I've asked a million of them. Do you need it? Does it matter whether it's your right kidney or your left kidney? I mean, it doesn't.
And they will just put it in you.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going in for,
exact replica transplant. Yeah.
So, but no, it's real. It's not going away. And in August, I was out to dinner with a customer of mine and my boss and at a local restaurant, and that was on a Friday night. And Saturday, I just got really, really sick, really sick. So I ended up having to go to the emergency room, and it turned out I had E. coli.
Wow.
So I was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, and that really kind of just
slid.
Did it to them.
Went off the backside.
Went off the backside. So, something like that, it just takes a toll.
And you don't know when. Yeah, you don't know when something like that's going to actually happen.
Yeah.
What is your blood type, by the way?
Oh. Yep.
No HI, no HI or O, just O.
Yeah.
Let the folks know where he can.
Let the folks know, man.
If you are interested in helping Dale and want to see if you're a match, this is done through a link, and the address there is OSU WEX, WEX Med MED livingdonor.org, and we'll put that on the
that'd be great.
on the podcast.
That'd be great.
Spread the word, because that's what we're here today for.
Yeah. Is that all one word? OSU WEX Med, OSU WEX Med living donor. Oh, no slash in there. Okay.
.org.
Again, all you need is you just need one person.
Yeah.
Right? You just need one person to.
O is the blood type, ladies and gentlemen.
They said your family would be the
easiest
way to get a match. So I've got 3 kids. I've got 2 daughters. Spencer has 2 sisters, but they're in the prime of their life in regards to starting their families, and they both. My one daughter has 2 kids, and the other one has a son, and we just actually celebrated their birthdays over the weekend. But personally, I think that's kind of a hard ask there. They want to still have kids, and
sure.
What would that do for them? Taking a kidney and them still wanting to add to the family, and then Spence is he's a pro hockey player. So he can't really at the moment give me
pass along.
So that's why it's important that we are where we are right now.
Yeah.
With spreading the word on how people can see if they're a match and be a donor. So
yeah, my third grandkid, she's a girl, showed up on Thursday morning, and I know what you're talking about. Then past that, so what have they told you in terms of? Because you don't mind getting into the weeds on this. No. What have they told you in terms of your chances of one coming around the corner, so to speak? What I would think they give you some kind of parameters on living or deceased, meaning coming from a person who's passed away but has like I do, has organ donor checked on their driver's license,
right?
As opposed to living someone who could just come out of the weeds and be your blood type and a match. What have they told you are the chances?
Yeah, again, they we've talked about that, and based on where you are, on the list, but a deceased donor, it could take a while. It could take years, 2, 3 years to get a deceased.
Even though people are dying every second.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why. I mean, that's what Mike told me. That's my nurse over at Ohio State. He's like, it literally, the difference between a deceased donor and a live living donor could be months versus years.
Yeah.
So that's just that. I mean, you think about it, and it's like, wow, So
because when you beseech or you solicit a living donor, that becomes your donor, not.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into a pool, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people understand that, but it's, man, that's interesting. I know Porty's had some challenges in his life, and that was one of them. big time. And, knock on wood for him and stuff. It happened for him. Are you under, are you personally are you under any kind of major deadline now, or is it like you said, the backslide was real the other? Because you never know when that's going to happen, right? I mean, and it could go farther.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
sooner rather than later, right?
Sooner rather than later. That's the best way to put it. I'm on call.
Yeah, you might have to leave here right now.
That's right.
But they say one thing they're very adamant about is you see our number come up, you have to answer the call. It doesn't matter if it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 a.m. Make sure your voicemail is currently working properly. It's just a lot of things go into the whole thing that it just
receiving that call
makes it real. And I'm in a situation where hopefully with spreading the word here in Central Ohio and wherever it may go, but there are people out there that need a kidney like today.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's crucial that they get it today or tomorrow.
Well, we all experienced that. I mean, here recently, the Ohio State football community experienced that, and Nick Mangold, I mean, I just interviewed him a year and a half ago or whatever, going into the Ohio State Hall of Fame, and he had a chronic situation. I think it might have been a genetic situation where he had problems with his kidneys all along, through life and stuff, and all of a sudden it became an acute situation, and they put out the call for he put out the call on social media and got a lot of response from it, but then all of a sudden, things took a weird turn, and he passed away. God bless him. But I mean, you don't mind us talking in those terms because you're dealing with that every day. I would think that's the last thing you think about before you go to sleep every night. And the first thing you think of every morning is, I need a kidney, and that we're not kidding.
Yeah. 35.5 million Americans suffer from chronic kidney disease.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said 1 in 7?
35. And I jotted it down here. About 1 in 7 adults have chronic kidney disease.
Did not know that figure.
And it's about 80,000 Americans have kidney failure and require dialysis or transplant to survive.
Those are stark figures there.
Yeah.
Right, Clay?
Yeah, I think if I remember this right.
I could use a brain transplant, by the way, if anybody's out there. Go ahead. What?
No, I think from the Buckeye family, I think John Hicks. And
well, like Jack Tatum had
Tatum lost limbs.
Chronic diabetes and stuff. He had bad diabetes, lost a couple of limbs and stuff before. And I don't like talking about this in front of Dale, but it's like Dale's dealing with it. Dale, let me ask one last thing from a cautionary tale. Do you wish you had taken the earlier, was it A1C or whatever it was when you determined you had diabetes, or did you know it, or did it sneak up on you? And do you wish you'd taken it more seriously?
Oh, that's what Clay and I were talking. Yeah, I wish I was a non-conforming diabetic.
But did you know you were a diabetic?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And
this will just go away?
Yeah, just one more slice of pizza, one more burger,
and then that's it.
It'll go away.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And blood sugar and your A1C, both were numbers for me that shouldn't be where they were. I mean, they were bad, but again, as in a profession where I'm driving every day and taking customers to lunch and dinner, and Spence and I during the hockey season, pretty much in a hotel every weekend after the games, going to dinner with the families. I mean, it's
fast food, whatever.
Fast food,
even slow food is
fast, slow, all.
Yeah.
And we're talking, I don't mean to throw out, but 90% of people with kidney disease do not even know they had it in the early stages.
I would think that's definitely true.
But
like any normal human being, you think, this can't really be that bad, type thing. And the only reason I brought that up is if you do end up with a diagnosis of of diabetes, et cetera. Take it serious. I mean, that's one of the things to do. But you know what? That doesn't mean your life ends. I mean, you move on, and that's why we're, pleading may not be the right term, but we're asking for help here for Dale Cox and anybody else you can help out there, because I would think there's a long list, almost like a Amazon wish, gift list on somebody for Christmas that you could see of somebody you could help in this kind of situation. I don't know if anybody would want my kidneys, but go ahead.
No, it really hits home for me. I've been a diabetic for, I think, over 10 years, and take the medication, monitor your diet, and start exercising. Mm-hmm. And I've made myself, in the last year or two, I mean, it's one thing to say, well, when it's warm, I'll get out and I'll be walking, I'll be running, and maybe play a little pick-up hoops. But if you live in Ohio, there's 5 months there where, it's a little
February.
A little nippy. And so, get on a treadmill, do something, because those are the two variables. And I heard James Laurinaitis at one point not talk about diabetes, but it's like, don't eat bad and think you can train it away.
Exactly.
You cannot.
What goes in is what comes out.
And that's another one that hit me right between the eyes.
Yeah.
You cannot eat. Yeah,
I got an elevated A1C when I went for some term life insurance about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had to go into a physical. I got a slightly elevated A1C, and this isn't bragging. This is just me. I totally changed everything. I mean, I used to go through the McDonald's drive-through and get the biggest pack of French fries they had,
of course.
because I grew up eating East Texas brisket barbecue. I don't even know if that's good or bad for you. It's good protein.
It's lean,
but yeah, exactly. But my point was, I just like I probably haven't had a full pack of French fries in probably 10 years. I mean, and you just kind of fried chicken. I grew up on fried chicken. I grew up in Alabama and Texas. My mom made the best fried chicken known to man, but we didn't have it every day, but everything had some kind of like deep fried, in its name and stuff, one way or the other. But I kind of quit eating a lot of fried stuff in my teen years. The point is, you can do it. You just got to do it, and vegetables, et cetera. Nothing's wrong with green vegetables. And, I'm sure Dale can list off all these things you should be eating, right, Dale? What's the one thing you like now that you had no idea you could get yourself used to eating?
Oh, Tim,
the list is long, isn't it?
The list is real long.
Cauliflower.
And that's the problem,
you didn't know it before.
Didn't know it before.
Yeah.
And you become more aware. I've been fortunate to go over and take some nutrition classes, at Ohio State.
That's a resource, man.
Yeah, but the list, I mean, God.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything you eat.
But
I was eating I shouldn't have been eating. And
Well, here's what I've gotten to in my life is that if I have a bowl of ice cream, for example, I mean, I might have a little spoon of ice cream every now and then because I love ice cream.
Yeah.
But I will just, it's almost become, I've weaned myself into, it's almost repulsive to me to think about eating French fries or fried chicken, for example, and just anything fried. And it's almost the way you have to do it. That doesn't mean that's what you like. It doesn't mean when I walk through wherever and I smell something cooking, Dale, it's like the siren song.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Luring me to the rocks. But that's what you have to do. And there's other things to eat, and so I would think that's as much a message from this situation as let's get this man a kidney. And there's a lot of people with O blood.
Yeah.
Not old blood like mine.
Yeah.
O blood. And anybody can help. And let's give that give that email address one more time.
Yeah, it's OSU WEX, WEX Med, MED, OSU WEX Med, livingdonor.org.
That's it. Yeah.
And do we have to? Does Dale's name have to be attached? Dale Cox?
No, you can just go there and do this.
Sign up, and then
exactly.
Yeah.
and they marry the two together. Okay.
Yeah. And a kidney's about the size of a hockey puck, isn't it? A little bit bigger, maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Not as misshapen. A hockey puck's nice and round, which is our segue back into what we were talking about. Best
is USA going to beat Canada?
Oh, that's gonna be an epic matchup. And,
Absolutely.
And the way it's going, it looks like it's gonna come to fruition.
They're like two. As I called it, what did I call Indiana and Ohio State last year? They're like two tankers coming down the Suez Canal right at each other, without dodging.
And not only the men's side, guys, but
the
women. It looks like it's going to be
right.
And I don't know if you know, but
they're playing like a house of fire. The women,
they're on fire, and the
Ohio State women,
United States team is not only OSU women, but they have Gwyneth Phillips, she's from Athens. She actually played with Spence and the guys here in Columbus. She was the goalie on the team,
there you go,
on the teams growing up, and I mean she was incredible,
and
she was incredible, and the guys would the boys were God, we had a girl goalie.
Who cares? She's stopping the puck.
She was awesome. She was awesome, and now she's an Olympian, and then up in from Cleveland Heights, you have a girl who is just doing. I mean, she's phenomenal as well. So big Ohio contingent here on the women's side.
Yeah. Take your son out of contention for this next question. Who is the best hockey player who's been produced from Central Ohio in the last 20 years, in your opinion?
There's just again with to give credit to Ed Ginger in the program over there, Ohio AAA Blue Jackets. There are several players here.
But I asked you for one.
No, I know.
You're going to, like Austin Ward used to do that. He used to talk around that maypole on me. Go ahead now.
Yeah, no.
Give me a couple then.
Oh, God.
That come to mind.
Sean Corrali, Jack Roslovic, the Sherwood brothers.
Yeah.
I mean,
all in the NHL.
All in the NHL. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
isn't that crazy?
And Connor Murphy. Is it Connor Murphy?
Yep. Connor Murphy's with the Blackhawks. And, I mean, you just think about that and put it in perspective. I just named five or six guys. That are in the
and how many could you have named before 19, like we were talking about a while ago, the Ice Age that came here? Before 1990, how many could you have named?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because it was just like in Florida. You look around there. I grew up in Lufkin, Texas. The great thing was in Houston, they had this place called the Galleria, and they had an ice sheet there where you could go. You could go skating. I used to take my girlfriend down there in high school. It was like 100 miles away, but it was only ice.
What a romantic!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, no, she learned she could do anything. I couldn't. I was born with two left feet, splay-footed left feet. No, but my point is that's where the Houston Aeros, when Gordie Howe and his two sons played for the Houston Aeros, the Quebec Nordiques. I saw them play the Quebec Nordiques there at the Summit, which is where Joel Osteen's church is now and stuff. But there were only I think 2 sheets of ice in the city of Houston, and one of them you and I could go skate at, but for an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, it belonged to the Houston Aeros. You know what I mean? And their HQ was there, and I was just thinking, boy, this is because I grew up watching youth hockey because when we finally got cable in Lufkin, or we got cable, it was already there in Lufkin. The one of the stations in Houston, which we got on our cable, showed junior hockey from Canada every, I think, Friday night, and I would sit there and watch those games. Yeah, wow. Junior hockey, not the NHL, and I just thought it was these guys running around 48, 50 miles an hour running at each other. And I just thought this was the greatest thing ever and stuff. But the problem with hockey as opposed to soccer is you can't go out in your backyard and just start playing, right? And that's the reason I was talking about the proliferation of ice sheets everywhere has really helped all kinds of, there are all kinds of places now in Texas that a little small town or something will have an ice sheet, which was never possible. But I wanted to ask you, Dale, in particular, did you play hockey or did you just fall in love with it?
No, I played growing up. I grew up in North Jersey, and I played.
What area? Right.
Union County.
Yeah.
About 45 minutes outside the city.
What township were you in? Or
Scotch Plains.
Okay.
And we played at the Warrenanko ice rink, and it's about 15 minutes from where I grew up, and played for the Cranford Hockey.
Like you got Edison and Parsippany and all those things. Where
Edison is the next town over.
Next town over,
from Scotch Plains.
Yeah, okay. Now I got you.
Yeah, so played for the Cranford Hockey Club, and our games. It wasn't AAA, but it was we were traveling all over,
having a good time,
all over the New Jersey with my dad, and but I didn't. And back then, if you wanted to take hockey serious at that level, you had to kind of leave your high school and go to a prep school to play.
Sure,
and
kind of like lacrosse used to be.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave. I was playing baseball and football, and and I had a lot of good friends in high school. Good group, a core group of friends, and so. But I didn't play at the level. Obviously Spence played at.
So, but then how did this become your? I mean, where you are now, with the son who's now playing for Cincinnati, Cyclones?
Cincinnati Cyclones,
yeah. Double A team, basically Double A in terms of baseball for the Toronto Maple Leafs. How did it become your passion? Meaning, after that, what did you give me some background on you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I always liked hockey, and when Spence came along and he could, kind of get to the age where he could put on a pair of skates.
But you were living here then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living here in Ohio, and this was years ago. We went to a learn to skate class, and there was a gentleman up there, Coach Glenn, and I can remember like it was yesterday. And unfortunately, Coach Glenn just recently passed away.
Oh,
man. That's where Spence started learning to skate up in Chiller North.
Chiller North, yeah.
And we got involved with youth hockey, the Columbus Capitals, and then really enjoyed that. And I coached Spence with another gentleman pretty much, through the Columbus Capital era. Gentleman by the name of Donnie Rogers. He and I took the boys, and then after that, Spence, was fortunate enough to make the AAA program. And once you make the AAA program, they've got their coaches, and
do they have some expenses taken care of too at that level?
No,
you still paying out of pocket.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Oops,
but,
out of pocket.
Yeah,
spending.
But,
oops.
You go from opening the door on the back end to just sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
But
yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, but they again, they've done a great job, and they continue to do a great job here in Central Ohio. Were you happen to see a kid named Tim Hahn play? I mean, he's one of my middle kids' best buddies and stuff. He was a really good youth hockey player, but then there came that moment where he had a chance to go, and I think he actually went and played for like a lower level. What do they call that when you're a youngster? Like in Canada, what do they call it? Junior league, a junior league team. Yeah.
But this was in like a Canton, Akron area somewhere, and he went there for like a couple 3 weeks, and I think I may have the time period wrong, and just kind of didn't like being away from home, And but does almost every kid have to make, in some form or fashion, make that commitment of leaving home and going playing?
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems like.
But there are more opportunities closer to home now than there used to be for that, right? I mean, is that the best way of putting it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kids will leave home, to go play junior hockey. But now Clay and I were just talking about it. I mean, now you have kids that are leaving home and coming to Columbus.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah,
play hockey, which, and when that happens, you have families here in town that. They're called billet families, and they open up their home to these kids. But on our again AAA teams, they have kids that are moving to Columbus to play hockey at a high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billet, ladies and gentlemen, that's sort of a military term.
Yeah.
Which means 3 hots and a cot. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You personally, we were talking about it a minute ago, and we got sidetracked again because that's what happens on the Tim May Show. We digress. back to what's going on right now with, for example, the Ohio State women's hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we consider it, I mean, it's phenomenal what Coach Muzzerall has done there, in my opinion, right? And if you get on the right side of something almost in its infancy, which is kind of what they did with her in that hockey program, it takes you places, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many opportunities for female young girls, like you're talking about, the young lady from Athens playing for the United States team. It's not just a male-dominated thing anymore, right?
Oh, no. I mean, you know how many girls here in Central Ohio are? I mean,
No, I don't.
Going to look up to Gwyneth.
Yes.
You know, and now, I mean.
Oh, I thought you had a number.
She's, you know, well, it's just, you know, to have somebody like that where these kids locally can look up to, and they see her and they're like, well, I can do that as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's just crazy.
Well, I think of my wife. My wife was a tremendous athlete. Her family kind of moved around when she was a youngster, but she ended up in Worthington. But she was a high jumper, but tremendous athlete. You know what I mean? Fast. I never understood when I first started covering like women's basketball why it was so slow, because my wife not only was fast, she was a high jumper at Ohio State and set school record there for several years and stuff. But now. Young girls and stuff are getting so much more proficient in every sport they play. Yep. Women's softball, in my opinion, is off the hook. I mean, how good it is compared to 20 years ago, but also the opportunities for young girls to play hockey and then be able to aspire to go to Ohio State on scholarship or whatever, or wherever school. Now, there still aren't that many big-time major college hockey programs for females, but they're growing almost by the year and stuff. But it is, as I said, I keep going back to this ice age, man, for Central Ohio. It's a real deal.
Yeah. You know, Nadine Muzzerall, as I've come to learn, was from a very meager background. She would get on her bike, strap the skates to her bicycle, and roll down the road a mile or two to the rink, and then became maybe the greatest player ever, I think, at the University of Minnesota, record after record after record. And she has brought excellence, to Columbus, Ohio, and the national championships to boot. So.
Well, she also has proven this farce like 20, 40 years ago that girls don't like to be coached. That's BS.
Do you guys know who the head coach of the University of Wisconsin's women's hockey team is?
Hang on.
I do not know. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't know instead of going into my recess.
I'll give you a hint. Played hockey on the 1980 Olympic men's hockey team.
Jim Craig.
Nope.
No. I heard it the other day.
What's his face?
Yeah, it's him.
Micah Ruzioni.
Mark Johnson.
Oh, Mark Johnson.
Who was
I did not know that.
Best player on the team, I think.
Best player on the team.
Yeah.
Mark Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not know. Why did I not know that?
Yeah.
How long's he been there?
He's been there for a while.
Wow.
I think he's won multiple national championships as well.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a great documentary they did on the 80 team on its, 56th anniversary or whatever it is. What is this?
Yeah.
46th
45?
45? Yeah, 40. Yeah. Well, they played in 80, so, That's like I covered the Buster Douglas fight, and everything. And of course, every year that comes up. Well, it's what was it this year? 36th anniversary. Yeah. So you got to talk about it, But it was one of those moments. But yeah, I mean, Mark Johnson, I thought he came off so well in that documentary.
Yeah, that was a great documentary.
Yeah,
it was really done
well.
well.
They set them in the same rink.
Yeah.
Every team has a player. You know what I mean? Every great team has the guy, and he was sort of that guy, wasn't he?
He was
the gifted.
Yep, he was.
Yeah.
They said that Herbie. They said that was Herbie's favorite player.
Yeah.
So
because he took it. He took it from him, and then they delivered. And then you find out, the thing that really never struck me in the other documentaries that have been done about that team, even the movie with Kurt Russell, Not Tonight. That's one of my favorite lines in the movie. Not tonight. Was
great movie.
How one of the you kind of delved into Herb Brooks's genius was he back then in 1979-80. You had a collection of guys to get the right kind of player for the team, you had factions that didn't like each other.
They did not get along. You had
the Eastern kids.
Eastern kids and the kids from the Midwest, and they did not like each other.
The genius was he made them dislike him.
Right.
Especially that skate after that one night. Where was it? Were they in Norway or whatever?
Sweden,
where they didn't Sweden, where they didn't play up to par, and he made them skate till they dropped. That would be illegal now. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
And like a post Iowa football practice or something. You can't do that stuff anymore.
No water too. They couldn't have water, and what they said, the rink manager came and
turned out the lights. You're out of here, boys. I got to get home to Mildred.
I love the Craig not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones, because he was leaving great players on the. Off his list.
Well, you finally got to cut it down. I mean, that's just that's the toughest thing about sport. At that level is you go from a youth league where everybody gets to play to where now all of a sudden winning is what matters, development and winning, both, because the coach has to prove his medal. The way you prove your medal is by winning and whatever. But then that was the ultimate. But like we were just talking about, you've got to have that core guy. You got to, you can't maybe. You can't, but he didn't baby Mark Johnson. It was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he still got he ended up with a soldier.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Craig was a soldier.
Yeah.
Mark Ruzioni was if it was like Band of Brothers, he's that smart aleck sergeant who's always popping off, but will do the thing, right? I mean, that's what got me about that team.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, it's emotional every time you watch it. And I just recently watched a documentary.
Yeah.
Like Clay said, having those guys there on the bench, but Herb Brooks was the he made those guys not like him, and those guys in the beginning, East Coast kids, and they didn't like each other, but they bonded together and they started to really form what we now know as Miracle on Ice, and Herb did that on purpose.
Yes.
Right.
And he made them bond. He made them. You guys are against me. This is good.
Yeah,
I mean, in his mind,
it was them against me, and he was cut from the 1960. He was the last cut from the 60 Olympic team, and
he knew the pain.
Spencer went to LIU, played college hockey
Long Island
at LIU for his first 2 years before transferring to Miami. And the coach at his school was Brett Riley, and Brett's grandfather was the coach that cut Herb Brooks.
No kidding.
In and they won gold. They won gold.
Yeah, I know.
In '60, and that was Brett's grandfather.
I think the movie was authentic, because when they won, Herb takes off by himself, celebrates in the locker room, the coaching room, whatever. He's not jumping over the boards hanging out.
No, he was really happy just before that.
Yeah.
Right.
You could, the video, but they had another game to play.
And those players said after, at the end of the documentary, gosh, I wish I'd known him as the other,
They wish they could have known him just as being a regular guy.
A person.
Right.
A person. And they got emotional about it, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, Bear Bryant once told his assistant coaches at Alabama, he had an opposite take. He goes, I want you to drive these guys hard. We're going fundamentals until they drop, et cetera. Everything's about the details, et cetera. He goes, but in the final analysis, I want them to respect you and sort of like hate you. They got to play for me. I want them to love me. You know what I mean? As the head coach. And every head coach has a different, approach to that. Obviously, Bear Bryant, one of the greatest of all time and stuff. But, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer he coached with a steel-toed boot. I mean, for everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the players, not just his assistant coaches who he drove big time, not just the support staff. I mean, everybody was a certain standard, and the standard had to be getting better every day.
Yeah.
And so but I think sometimes when you get done with that, like Herb Brooks finally probably did, to get that out of a group, you've got to be the guy. You've got to be the dynamite going off all the time. But at the end, you still want them to feel like you were part and parcel to what happened.
Yeah.
And love you for it, and maybe see the madness or
Down
see
the
the
road,
method
yeah.
through the madness and stuff. And that's a real fine line coaches have to walk. I've watched Ryan Day develop as a head coach in the last 7 years, and he's still one of the great guys I've ever known. But you can see he's become a little more cold-blooded is the
That's it.
way of putting it about
got an
his
edge.
assistant coaches. It's got to be done a certain way. You bring people in, as I could say, to pollinate the flower with different thoughts and stuff. But it's the Ohio State way. It's not the new offensive coordinator's way, or for the most part, new defensive coordinator's way. Although you sidestepped that a little bit with Jim Knowles 4 years ago, just to kind of shake things up. But the bottom line is, these guys, you got to put them through things. And they're not going to like it. Mick Marotti is the best at that. The strength and conditioning coach at Ohio State. They, what they're doing right now while we're sitting around a table, hoping for a kidney, by the way, for Dale. What's that address again?
Yeah, OSU WEX Med Living Donor.org. OSU WEX, WEXMED, excuse me, livingdonor.org.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Are we supposed to have the phlegm in there also, or not?
You could leave that out.
But anyway, they're working.
Sure.
Yeah. They're working in February again, like they were working in February last year, like they were working in February the year before when they won a national championship.
Yeah.
And last year they worked harder and they didn't win one. Now the selling for a coach who won it and then didn't win it, but we're going to work even harder because this year we're going to win it. You know what I mean? That whole juggling match is just crazy when you think about getting guys to just sell out for you, right?
What Herb said in the movie, and the guy said that he really did say that. He goes, "I'm not going to be your friend,
right?
If you want a friend, go see Craig. Craig Patrick was the assistant coach, but he wanted no part of being close to the boys.
Yeah, and Craig Patrick, when he spoke up a couple of times, was kind of like understood where he stood, which was, okay, meaning he tried to get him to go light on him a couple of times,
right, exactly,
and got refuted. Now you got to do that in the NHL.
Yeah,
you got to go light sometimes, right? Hey, last thing, Dale. And what I was leading to, are you excited to where hockey? Because you've been part of it, man. You've been part of building things as much as anybody else, especially in Central Ohio. Are you excited to where hockey's gotten to, and where do you think it's headed? Meaning, in this area.
Oh,
and have the Blue Jackets been the true catalyst? Meaning, wow, if you're a big time football player growing up in Central Ohio State, right? You can see it.
Yeah, I mean, we moved here, years ago, but when we got here, hockey was, it was here,
blossoming.
It was here, and I think Clay, 2001 is when the Jackets started.
Yeah, 2000,
2001, but. I think with the Jackets here in town and what they've done, and again, I can't believe how much it's grown just in the time that Spence was playing, and I mean it's crazy just to look where it's a funny story. I was going to Pittsburgh. I was actually going to Wheeling a couple weeks ago to watch Spence, and there's this place, and when you have a kid playing hockey, where all the good rest stops are.
Yeah.
So there's a place on 70, and I always stop there. They've got great some food there. But I was in the bathroom, and I walk out, and there's a father and a son walking into the bathroom. And he has a Mavericks, shirt on. I said, "Well, you play hockey?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We're from Columbus," and
oh wow,
Did you say my son?
Yeah,
Spencer?
I just started talking to him, and I said my son played, and I'm actually going to see my son play now. But I mean, it's it's just grown so much.
Oh yeah,
and I think a lot of kids want to play hockey, and I think the Blue Jackets again have done a great job with what they do. With
growing the game
and supporting the kids that want to play and supporting the organizations. I know financially they help out the different organizations in town, and but it's really neat to see hockey take off.
Yeah, I've always thought about the United States. With Canada, all those little towns have a hockey team. It could have been like that in the United States, except the United States, like I said, the ice wasn't plentiful. You could skate on God's made ice, in Canada from November to whenever, and have a true league, have a true season. Whereas when I grew up in East Texas, or God forbid West Texas or Florida or whatever, there are all these. That's why football was such a big deal. It was the same thing, but hockey is the Friday Night Lights of Canada, and but I just think about the United States, like you said, going to Wheeling to watch your kid play hockey in Wheeling, West Virginia. Troy, Ohio, I remember had a nice little hockey rink back in the day and stuff. I mean, Newark had one, and there were all these little pockets, but it wasn't as organized for one or as well known as like in hockey, where you think, or North Dakota or Minnesota, which have those kind of things. So everybody down here has been playing catch up for a while, but boy, once you watch a hockey game, you understand. It grabs you.
Well, I think the thing that's why I'm so glad you are so ingrained, because our family got ingrained in lacrosse, and we would share notes, etc. But I just feel like somebody who from one of these games or leagues or whatever, everybody knows Dale Cox, and one of them's going to come through.
Absolutely, Dale.
I really believe that, and I think all that's going to come back to you, I hope.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. It's get emotional thinking about it, and again, just to get the text and the phone calls come through, and what really grabbed me is getting texts from people I didn't think I'd get a text from.
Really?
And that kind of struck at home.
A chord, yeah.
It's a wake up call, and again, it's just it's been a kind of whirlwind here the past 2 or 3 weeks. But the people that have reached out that I didn't think would reach out, that's just I've got friends from home, people here in Columbus, and I think people also look at they don't know if they should reach out. They want to reach out. Like, well, God, what do I say when I call them? And like it's okay. Just give me a shout. I'll talk to you. And
Bingo.
I'm getting calls and texts from I got a call last night from a buddy of mine back in Philly, and what can I do? What can I do to help? And I give them the website. But it's very and I think Porty would probably say the same thing. It's it hits home.
It's humbling.
It's very humbling.
Oh, heck yeah, it's taught mortality. I mean, it's like it's staring you in the face.
When I had that brain bleed in 2011, and you got out, and people would say, I was really praying for you, and it's like, that's so humbling, man.
Yeah, it really is.
I even prayed for you, Clay, but I didn't get any credit for it.
Thank you, brother. I didn't know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give me the website or is it a website or is it an email address?
Yeah. OSU Wex Med livingdonor.org. OSU WEXMED livingdonor.org.
And that's OR on donor for,
you provided
for a few of you folks
for so many kids, and now
challenged.
we're trying to provide you with some awareness here.
We can't have everybody on who needs a kidney, but we can have one at a time on. And
there you go.
And I think it's just, they're out there. It's just that's a stupid thing to say. Everybody's got a kidney, at least one. But yes, if you can help Dale Cox, definitely step up. You can look on that website and find out if you can help somebody else too, right, Dale?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is all takers, all comers meet. So. You know what, Dale? Thank you for joining us, man, here today.
Guys, thank you.
We did an hour.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and again, also very humbling, right, to be able to come in and sit down with you guys and talk about sports and my situation, and I'm extremely it's overwhelming, and I'm very, very appreciative.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of somebody who could use some help, it'd be Ohio State basketball. at this point. We're going to come back on Wednesday on our Wednesday show, midweek show. We're going to talk about that bracketology with the guy who did bracketology for CBSSports.com for a couple of decades almost, my buddy, good friend of mine, Jerry Palm. But until then, for Clay Hall, for Dale Cox, I'm Tim May. We'll see you then. Shh. By the way, Clay has left the room. I wanted to let you folks in on a real bargain out there in the world of simulator golf. The Back Nine Golf, which is located at 2820 Fishinger Road in Upper Arlington, has a hell of a holiday box available to you right now. The value is nearly $300, but your price is $150 if you jump online. That's almost 50% off if you jump online at Columbus at theback9golf.com. That's their email address. Their website is theback9golf.com/Columbus-upper-Arlington-OH/ That's a long address, but just write it down a couple times watching it. And you can also call them at 614-362-7888. Parentheses PUTT, PUTT. But the bottom line is one of the new ultra modern simulators that you can find in the greater Columbus area, and it's really right there in the middle of Upper Arlington. I know Tito Thidoff and I hopped in there the other day. I think it was 16 degrees outside. There was snow and ice everywhere, and we played Pebble Beach, and we did it in less than an hour. So it's one of the great bargains going out there. And with this holiday box, you get 1 month of Birdie membership. You get Back Nine branded golf balls. You get cozy Back Nine beanie, and you get premium Back Nine towel. So that's a hell of a deal because basically it's unlimited golf. It's 24/7. You get a code to get you in the door, and then you can go from there. And it's definitely fun. It's the premises are pristine. I know we had a great time. We even played closest to the hole, a few shots on number 7, famed number 7 short par 3 at Pebble Beach the other day, and had a great time doing it. So if you're looking for that last minute gift for a golfer that you love, or yourself that you love, that you're a golfer, nothing wrong with giving yourself a gift at this time of the year. That's the Back Nine Golf holiday box, and it's only a limited time, and there, as you can imagine, there are only a few available. Quantities are tight, so check in at theback9golf.com.